Hey Danny, let's see if I've got my audio set up right. Looks like I do. Thanks, Josh. Hey guys, I just thought I'd get on this afternoon and do a quick stream. I dropped a cube of frozen Repashy into my shrimp tank, and I think my count on my shrimp tank was off a little bit because there's quite a few more of them there than I counted earlier. Thanks, Danny. Hey, Bruno. How's everybody doing on this Friday? Hey, Sergeant. I know I've been missing some of your live streams lately. Sorry, I'll try to do better. Old timer teach you a thing or two. Yeah, I'm not so sure that I'm so great at teaching, but I've had a lot of experience keeping fish and fish tanks, and I've had a lot of failures and a lot of other things. So sometimes my experience allows me to help people out a little bit, just because basically I've been through a lot of this stuff already. Sorry about the fuzzy camera work. My little camera just won't get hey Nisi, my camera just will not focus well on this shrimp tank. Yep, Bruno, I try. Nisi, we understand. I've been doing some of these live streams a little earlier in the evening to try to allow some of the Europeans to get on before they go to bed. I know it's late in Europe right now, but I figured I would try to at least give them a shot to get on. Hey, Matthew. I really have no angle today, nothing that I'm trying to do, but I just figured I would, when Repashy is some really great stuff, and this is yeah, Bruno, I know it's pretty late. I'm sorry. I should have gotten on about 2 o'clock my time. When I make Repashy gel food, I usually use an old brine shrimp packet, and I mix my Repashy and I scrape it into the old brine shrimp packet, and then I reseal it and freeze it. And I've found that this way I don't put too much Repashy in the tanks, and I can kind of break up how I want to feed. Like I might put 2 or 3 in my 110 gallon, and I can just drop 1. And hey Brian, Captain Savage, how's it going, man? Yeah, it's Friday, so 10 o'clock is viewable in the Euro areas if anybody's looking to see if anything's on. Hey, Red Exec. How's everybody doing today? It's TGIF. The weekend's coming. It's a little colder here today. We got a low pressure front come through, and plenty of opportunity to play with low barometric pressure. But anyway, I dropped that cube of Repashy in my shrimp tank. And I just wanted to kind of show, yeah, Nisi, I really think it's the best way to go. If you try to make Repashy and then cut it up into slices, it tends to go bad. You know, if it's just in the refrigerator, it tends to go bad. But if it's frozen like that in little cubes, you know, it's like little ice cubes. And these shrimp just go crazy for it. Before, a cube like this would last about 2 days in the tank. There's also some assassin snails in this tank. So the assassin snails work on it too. It's Soylent Green. And I'm just trying to go through, I've got several different types of Repashy, and I'm just trying to go through the ones that I have open before I open any of the others, because I don't want it to go bad. So I'll just keep mixing Soylent Green, and I think I've got Insectivore open as well. And I'll just keep varying which one I mix up with the two that I've got open, and use it up before it goes bad, before I open my... I've got some Fruit Loops, which is... yeah, Bruno, we had Snail with a Sniper Red X. Yeah, assassin snails are very effective at killing snails, pest snails, that are not trapdoor snails. And there is some controversy over whether assassin snails will eat shrimp in a shrimp tank, but so far I'm finding that it's not an issue at all. I've watched little teeny sliver shrimplets be approached by one of those assassin snails, and they just dart away as soon as the assassin snail gets close. Hey, King Lee, I really enjoyed your first video. I hope you're in the process of making more for us. I think everybody ought to go sub King Lee. In fact, I think everybody ought to sub everybody. That's just the best way for us all to float everybody's boat. The barometric pressure video, it just hit me that we had a big rain front coming in, and whenever I think of a rain front coming in, I always go back to the old, it's been known in the hobby forever that if you do some conditioning feeding before a rain front comes in, and then just as the low pressure as the high pressure starts to drop off to low, you do a big water change, and it will trigger spawning a lot. Now it varies with different fish, but it's always a good thing to try if you're having trouble with whatever fish you're trying to breed to get them to spawn. That's a good way to try to trigger them. Hey, Sawyer T, welcome to the stream, man. Fish hunting, huh, Sharon? Well, if you were fish hunting with a shotgun, then yeah, it'd be a dangerous sport. If you were fish hunting at a fish store, it might be a little bit more it's less violent. Hey, Victor, it's less violent in a fish store, but it can be dangerous on your wallet, I've discovered. How's Victor today? For those of you that are late, this blurry, fuzzy video that you can't really see is me having just dropped a frozen cube of Soylent Green Repashy in my shrimp tank. And some people say that shrimp don't really like Repashy, but I beg to differ. They have swarmed it. Used to, when I first got these shrimp and I only had 12 of them, a cube would last 2.5 days before they ate it all, and I always worried about the water starting to go bad on them. Although Repashy is really good about not spoiling the water, which is why I went ahead and did it. But the way they're glomming on it right now, I'm guessing that it may not last the full day. They may wipe it out. If my poor assassin snails aren't Johnny on the spot, they'll probably miss it. When I get my my next project is a 55 that I took out of the house from where my wife's tank is now. That's where it sat for years, under a bed sheet, and I'm going to first have to clean it because it's just covered in scale, and I'm going to take Ruru 2's advice and use some liquid Barkeep's Friend, since I had so much trouble with my 110 trying to scrape scale off of the face of it with this frozen shoulder. It just really didn't go very well. But of course, then I started using RO water in the tank, and my scale all melted away off the front glass, so it was no longer a problem. But I'm going to try to clean that tank and then scrape out the seams, because the tank's probably 25 years old. I've not had any issues with it, but I thought it would be a good project to do, to show people how to seal a tank, how to reseal a tank. I know there's a lot of videos out there on it, and mine will just be one more, but I think it will be, I think I know a few tricks that may make it happen fairly well, show fairly well, in the sense of giving people clues about how to do it and how to have a successful job at it. It's kind of a scary thing for people to think about, you know, removing the seams from a fish tank. Hey Charles, how's it going, man? Glad you could make it to the stream. I just thought I'd do an early one. Some of you guys ought to keep an eye out and make sure I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes. I don't know when or who was going to stream, but I'd rather not eat up the airwaves while someone else is streaming. Yeah, wet dry sandpaper is some interesting stuff, Sharon. It doesn't sand as well as regular sandpaper does, but it does hold up to being wet. I've used it before in working on car bodies. Charles or somebody, Victor, if you can keep an eye out and make sure someone else isn't streaming and I'm not stepping on their toes, that would be handy. Let us know if someone else has started streaming, because I don't want to block other people's efforts. I've been really busy this week. There's been a lot going on in the Kitchel household, so I really haven't had much time. Thanks, Nisi. I really haven't had much time to do live streaming, or for that matter videos. I just did that. Okay, Nisi, that's good to know. I'll try to keep this under an hour then. I just did that low barometric pressure video as a afterthought, because I started thinking about the rain coming and whether I could get my plecos to breed for me, maybe because of it. I'm with spring comes in a lot of new issues. I'm starting to. I don't have central air in this house. When we first moved in 20 something years ago, we really didn't need it. We just opened windows and we could make it through most of the year with not too many, uncomfortably hot days. But the way the weather has been changing over the last couple of decades, it's gotten warmer and warmer and warmer here. And so I use window units for my air conditioning. We spot air condition the rooms that we're in. And I haven't unsealed my air conditioner in the room where my shrimp tank and my 110 gallon and it actually, I noticed my temperature in my shrimp tank yesterday was 82 degrees and the temperature in my 110 gallon was 86, and it was because all that hot air was building up before the rain front. So I'm going to need to clear the seal on my air conditioner in the room with my fish tanks and get that temperature down to a more reasonable level. Yeah, Kevin, I think a lot of people watch on their cell phones now, so there's really not much of a blockage. Yeah, that's true, Charles. There are more and more people starting to stream, but I want to facilitate other people's streaming. I like that idea. I like the idea that lots of people are streaming and that there's more and more opportunities for our fish family to connect. Hey Joel, how's it going, man? My notifications are coming about 15 to 20 minutes late every time now anyway. I don't know what's going on exactly with YouTube. They seem to go one way and then the other and then back and then over again. We seem to go through the same issues over and over and over again, but I'm assuming it's a coding issue. Yeah, I think a lot of people watch on cell phones now. It's pretty immediate. You don't have to sit down at a computer or anything else. I do have one kind of preview announcement that that I am having my logo made, and it's wonderful. It may be slightly disturbing a little bit because it's kind of an anthropomorphization logo wherein you make an animal take on human traits, but I think it's going to be quite wonderful when it's done, and I have it in my greedy little mitts. So pretty soon I should start being able to display a logo when I do this stuff, and I will give shout outs and kudos to the artist. It's someone that you all know. Well, Kevin, sometimes the real world is different time zones. And one of the beauties of this form of communication is that people from all over the world can gather together. I'm really of the mind that we need to just all gang up and work out our differences on chat and then go to our respective governments and say, this is what we're going to do and this is how it's going to happen. We're sick and tired of our governments trashing the whole world. We're sick and tired of our governments fighting among each other. And so now the people are going to rule, and these are the ways. Unicorn with Dwain's face. No, close, but not exactly. I think it will surprise you. Those of you that have been following me on a lot of different live streams and forums will probably have an idea what to expect out of my my logo. But the actual realization of it is quite remarkable to me. There's an aquarium live stream information page on Facebook. Geez, Victor, I honest to goodness didn't know about that. You are more than welcome, Victor, to put a link to that in the stream so that other people can go and check it out. Yeah, Joel, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, the world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's a surprise, Kevin. And I think it's almost to the point now where people can start to have an effect on their own governments by en masse making statements about what they will and won't tolerate anymore. I mean, I don't think we can do the brass tacks of ruling. Yeah. Welcome, Aquatasi, and oh yeah, man, it's gonna be great. Those of you that know me well, yep, it is a pleco. That much is true, Bruno. You have guessed it. So now all you need to do is guess the artist and the I keep saying that and keep not being sure that I'm saying it correctly. Anthropomorphism. Yeah. That's giving human traits to an animal. I didn't go for the beard, Sharon. Corona, there is no late, man. You're right on time. And yes, I hope everyone in the stream and those not in the stream. Well, Aquatasi, I thought about the long hair and a beard and glasses, but I don't think that the person that is doing this logo for me will really would have really appreciated me doing that, making them do that. So I left that part out. I'm sure at some point, my wife is an artist too, and I'm sure at some point I may be able to get her to take the original and add a beard and long hair and glasses to it. Maybe, maybe not. We'll just have to see. I just wanted to get the... Nope. Hey, Jim. How's it going, man? How's Jim today? I guess the Lakers can begin their effort to coax Paul George away from the Pacers now in earnest. They sure blew that lead they had. And I don't think I jinxed it. Has to be a pleco sitting in a chair reading a book. No, not reading a book. Yeah, I'm afraid you probably are. I was highly demoralized by that game. They were up 24 points in the first half and lost. And a little insider, when I was filming my low barometric pressure video, there was about 3 minutes left in the game. I had given up on it already and turned the sound down. But you can catch me glancing at the TV just to see if they might have possibly come back. Jimmy, my background video in this is a cube of frozen Soylent Green Repashy that I dropped in my shrimp tank. About every other week, I'd drop one in and let them feast on it. They seem to love it. They go crazy for it. Yes, and you guys haven't guessed the artist yet either. And perhaps you won't guess it until such time as it appears, which should be pretty soon. I'd say within the next week or so. I've left little hints around though, so those that are aware should probably be able to guess it. And Joel comes in with a winner. Nope, I tried to get Lon to do it for me and he was just too busy, Nisi. But Priscilla is the artist. So you can imagine that me wanting to anthropomorphize a realistic pleco was kind of difficult for Priscilla. Yeah, they're going to town on frozen Repashy. How did your conference go, Aquatassi? Yes, I'm crazy about Priscilla's artwork anyway, so it was perfect for me. And I think it's going to help her out too. I know she just quit her job, so this will give her some income. Not as much as she probably should have. Yeah, she really is amazing. Oh yeah, and all I've seen is the Abby. No problem at all. I'm glad you made it by the stream, and you take care of your kids. Real life is way more important than YouTube or games or fish tanks or anything else. $2,000 students, huh, Aquatassi? Is this college students? Did they ask you uncomfortable and knowing questions? Well, it was Priscilla's choice, Corona Ken. I've pestered just about anybody. Well, let's be real here, guys. YouTube is a wonderful platform for us all to have a wonderful fish family and communication with each other. But if real life takes second place, something's wrong with this picture. Hey Laura, welcome to the stream. Sounds like I need to let my dogs in, sorry. On YouTube, please. You want to come put your face on YouTube? Huh? You boys want to be on YouTube? Let's see if I can watch the camera and get you guys on YouTube. Here, let's widen this screen out. Petey. Excuse my messy house. There's Pete. Say hi to YouTube, Pete. And there is Rufus, with a face only a mother could love. Rufus, say hi to YouTube, boys. Say hi to YouTube. Those are my boys. They're both rescue dogs, but we love them as if they were AKC prize winners. Petey is a semi-pit bull looking mix. He's got pit bull markings, but it's obvious that he's it's obvious that he's got boxer in him. We've always loved boxer variant type dogs, and we've had Rufus now for 6 years, and Rufus is the Scotty Dachshund mix. He is a character and a half. We spent about $5,000 on him last year. We've had both of our dogs on trifexis for a long time, and I honestly think that the trifexis caused them both to have liver issues. Petey was a little bit behind Rufus on the the problems that developed, but we really had to work with Rufus to get him back. Yeah, Laura, I honestly believe in this day and age that there are so many dogs out there waiting for homes that rather than, say I've got to have this or that just finding a rescue dog that you can love is best. We've always had really great luck with it. Aquatassi, we've had Petey, I think, 3 years now. Yes, somebody put a link up to King Lee's video channel. Thanks a lot for stopping by, Aquatassi. It's always good to have you in the house, man. And if you guys aren't subbed to Aquatassi, I would definitely recommend going and subbing to him. He is a Star Wars veteran from Lucasfilm and actually has had bit parts. And he is great at his filmmaking stuff. So definitely click on Go To by Aquatassi and check him out. Namaste, KZ. Om Mani Padme Hum. Yeah, I try. I'm constantly racking my brains trying to think of a new angle for content. It's thankfully our hobby is so diverse and of such wide content that it is possible to keep coming up with new stuff. Bye, man. Great that you could stop by. So for those of you that are late to the video, I can tell you that my fuzzy, grainy video that is in my background is a frozen cube of Repashy. But my camera is not quite at the right angle anymore. I still haven't gotten my extender to allow me to yes, KZ, you will find a lot of really great people to go and watch here. Our fish family is growing by leaps and bounds, and it offers a wide diversity of great people to check their content. Yes, Aquatassi has his Thailand tank. He does project tanks where he tries to biotope as close as possible. And he's been working up to this Thailand tank for quite a while. And it's definitely an excellent tank to check out. I've been watching it. Yes, it is. Well, Laura, it's shrimp and assassin snails. I think there's 4 or 5 adult assassin snails in the tank. I wanted something that would keep moving the substrate around because I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to siphon the bottom of this tank, so I only put just a smattering of gravel on it. So it's probably less than 1/4 of an inch deep. Hey, Electric Water, welcome to the stream, man. Laura, I got these from Lucas, and it was his Skittles mix, which was 12 shrimp, and there were 4 blues, 4 cherries, either that or it was 2 cherries and 2 fire reds, and 4 golden backs. So the cherries have obviously outbred everything else in the tank. One of the female cherries was buried when she came in. And so it's pretty clear from the amount of cherries on that chunk of Repashy that they are easily outnumbering all the other shrimp in the tank. I did notice some blue dream babies. So I got blue dreams, cherry and or fire reds, and yellow backs. And my wife is getting 10 green jade shrimp in after May 1st when Rob Loop Diesel Flip Aquatics mails out his import shrimp. We're going to take a shot at those import shrimp. My wife's always wanted green. Whenever she's talked about shrimp colors, green is the one she always wants. So we're going to try 10 of those and see how they work out. If you guys haven't subbed up Sergeant Tank, I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, Electric Water, sorry, it's kind of blurry. I dropped a frozen cube of Soylent Green Repashy in the tank, and I make little cubes in used brine shrimp blister packs because it makes it real easy to just pop them out and feed, and they last a long time. And some people think that, woo, date night. Well, gee, you'll have to take us along, Corona Ken, and film date night. How inappropriate would that be? Thanks for stopping by, Joel. No problem, Sergeant Tanks. You more than deserve any kind of shout out I could possibly give you. Hey, Mark. Welcome to the stream. Electric Water. Shrimp are good cleaners of algae, and there's some stories that they will eat hair algae and white fungus that forms on You're more than welcome, Victor. It's always good to have you stop by. But I would recommend that you not keep expensive shrimp in a community tank, because more than likely the little ones will get picked off when they have shrimplets, and Oh, I don't know, Corona Kim. There's a lot of filming that goes on in theaters anymore. They're probably used to it. I'm not so sure how much education I'm capable of, Victor, but I try my best. Yeah, nano tanks are pretty hard to set up, actually. I mean, you can throw them together, but I think, Nisi, you're doing the best thing possible to take your time, pick your plants and your inhabitants very slowly. Electric water, I had never kept any shrimp before I set this. This is my 20-gallon hospital tank, and the more I started watching Lucas's channel, and I highly recommend everyone go check out Lucas Brett's. The more I started watching his channel, the more the shrimp appealed to me. I got the bug watching him. And I've since discovered that there are lots of good shrimp, Neo-Caridina and Caridina shrimp channels all over. Mark's Shrimp Tanks is excellent. Lucas Brett's is excellent. Luke Diesel, Flip Aquatics is excellent. And I would highly recommend that people who are competent fish keepers, who have gained a set of skills, use those skills to try shrimp out. Yeah, Mark, I have to agree. Lucas, I mean, his shrimp are gorgeous. Hey, Susan, welcome to the stream. It's always good to have Susan in the house. I hope you're recovering from your losses and regrouping, Susan. I know you seem to have gone through a stretch of bad luck with your fish. One of the things that I was thinking about, shrimp do go after blackbeard algae. I'm not sure if they eat it or they just graze it so hard that it ends up giving up, but I have heard that you can use shrimp to clear up blackbeard algae. Susan, one of the things that occurred to me about your tanks and the issues that you've been having with them, I noticed that your goldfish were brought in as feeder fish, and they're really cheap, and you can pick the ones you want and get decent goldfish. But everyone and their brother understands that feeder fish are treated as badly as any fish in the live fish array of fish, so that you may have brought in diseases, parasites, any number of different problems may have come in with those feeder goldfish. And you've done an excellent job of raising them up, and I'm happy to see them doing so well. But that may be the basis of the issues that you've been having. Thanks for stopping by, Electric Water. It's always good to see people come in and stop in the stream. That's just one of the things that, thinking about the issues that you've been having, Susan, that's one of the things that occurred to me that may be at the bottom of a lot of your issues. You may literally have brought in problems with those feeder goldfish, because they are just packed into tanks and not fed and not taken care of and no meds, and you basically just get them as they are. And That's one of the reasons that most people dissuade people from feeding feeder fish to their monster fish anymore, is because of all the diseases and problems that come in with those feeder fish that are treated so badly. Now, if you raise up your own, if you med them, if you feed them well, if you take care of them until you're sure that there are no diseases or problems with them, then you can feed them to your monster fish all right. But that's a long, involved process, and most people won't go through that. Yeah, that's probably a good point, Susan. Yeah, but all it takes is one net that you used in the goldfish tank going into the other tanks. It is so easy to transfer issues in this hobby. You know, you see a lot of people talking about keeping nets in bleach dips and stuff like that. It's really critical, especially when you're dealing with an issue like feeder fish. You're pretty much spinning the Russian roulette wheel when you bring in feeder fish. And if one net or if your hands go from that tank to another tank, just that quickly the infection can spread. But I've just been, casting about trying to figure out what may be at the bottom of your, because this issue that you've had, Susan, seems to have kind of gone on and on. And I know you're using meds, but sometimes you just bring in stuff with feeder fish that it's difficult to figure out what's going on. I just say that in passing because I've watched your issues and I've watched your streams and I feel for you, and I've tried to rack my brain guessing exactly what the issue is. I wish I could point to a med and say use this and it will be all better, but I can't. Yeah, Jim, it's critical. It really is. If you've got more than one tank, you definitely need more than one net and treatment. If you net a fish out of one tank and put it in another, basically everything that's in that tank goes into the new tank. I'm not sure I could give you a good method to take one fish out of one tank and put it directly in another tank without having an issue. I guess you could dip the fish out and dip the net and the fish in a salt bath for a second. Corona Ken, I heartily support the idea of bringing in wild plants, but I think you need to be extra careful. I would probably do a bleach bath. Good, Susan. I would do a bleach bath, and I have a video where I describe the ratio of bleach to water that you use in a bleach bath, and it's rough on plants. You need to be careful how long you do it. And for bringing in a wild plant from a stream or a river, I would bleach bath it. I would rinse it off in chlorinated water, and then I would spray it down real good with hydrogen peroxide 3% solution, and then rinse it off. And then I would put it in a quarantine tank, and I would watch it for 2 to 3 weeks, just to make sure that you don't have snails or dragonfly nymphs You get one dragonfly nymph in your tank and it can kill half your fish. It's just really, really Hey Priscilla, thanks for stopping by. Well, I'm glad you're going shopping. Have fun, girl. So yeah, I would heartily support getting plants from the wild, but I would seriously watch how much and how well you treat them and watch them. Hey, Dead Boy, New York City. Okay. Looks like we're coming up on an hour here. And I was supposed to hold it under an hour to keep from stepping on someone else's toes. Hey, Robs, welcome to the stream. I think Nisi said Life with Pets is coming up pretty soon. Yeah, you're going to have to dig, Corona Ken. The reason that I did that treatment was because when I went to the OCA, and you'll find it in that area. That's all right, Dead Boy, New York City. I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad everybody stops by on these streams. Nobody has to. Corona Ken, that plant dip that I did is after I got back from the Ohio Cichlid Extravaganza. So you'll find it in one of those videos in that time frame. Because I bought a huge mother sword plant, obviously grown immersed. And because of that, immersed plants always make me worry about bringing contaminants in, because you never know what kind of setup they're in or how they're being treated. And it was a gorgeous plant, and I got it on sale. Yep, Susan, that's the best way to handle them. That's about as thorough as you can be. And you'll still end up with snails that'll survive it and stuff like that. But by letting them sit in a quarantine tank for a little while, you'll get a chance to see baby snails hatch out and leave the plant. You know, if you put a little food in there, they'll leave the plant and go to the food, and then you can snatch the plant out and not introduce pest snails. Because you never know what kind of disease is going to come in through pet snails from the wild, pest snails from the wild. Because out in the wild, they're subject to everything. So yes, I would highly recommend that's what you do. Now, after I bleach treated this giant sword that I got in, mother sword plant, I rinsed it off and stuck it in my tank. But I did a heavy bleach, and heavy bleach will usually remove most pests. The hydrogen peroxide helps kill some of the algae and blue-green algae and some of the insect infestations that you might have. Welcome back, Corey, too. I should be running my stream Saturday at the normal time, my Rob replacement stream. I usually try to go on a little earlier than Bob does so that it doesn't mess up my whole evening. When Bob was doing it at 8 o'clock my time, it was possible for me to eat dinner and do other stuff at the same time that the stream was going on. But I usually try to go off about 5 or 6 o'clock. That way it gives me a chance, my time. So that way it gives me a chance to do my dinner and other stuff. Yep, Susan, there is a whole world of microorganisms and pathogens out there. And when you bring stuff in from the wild, you've got to expect that that stuff comes in. Now, if you're putting a plant in a tank full of larger or smaller community fish, they're going to pick off a lot of the things that come in. You know, they'll eat the protozoans, and they'll eat of course, some of them will get infected from eating them too. But it's a crapshoot sometimes when you bring stuff in. It's just like me talking to you about your feeder goldfish. It's you're rolling the dice when you bring them in. No matter what kind of meds you put them through or how much you quarantine them, you're still taking a chance on something getting through. Yeah, I was concerned about all the trolling that I've noticed that it's been going on live streams. So I basically set up a mod wall the first stream I did, but it's apparent that there's not too many. I guess I'm not big enough to attract the attention of the Laura. It's Corona Ken that was talking about bringing plants in from the wild. I usually buy my plants. Nisi, I have a very good friend that lives in Alaska. And she is a substance abuse counselor. And she is, well, we call her White Trash Cat. She is one of the most remarkable people that I know. Now, I've not met her in person, but I've known her for more than 20 years. And she is a wonderful person. And her husband is a bush pilot. And some of the stories that come out of there, I'm trying to remember where she lives. She had her house burned down and lost everything that she had about 8 or 9 years ago. And one of the things that she mourned the most yeah, I'm going to have to get back with you on that, Nisi. I'll look it up and put it on Facebook chat for you. One of the things that she was mourning the most. Okay, I'll wrap this up after I finish this little thing, because I do want to give Life with Pets the full floor so that everybody goes there. One of the things that she mourned the most was her show tunes collection. She had a big vinyl show tunes collection. And I had just painted a couple of spinster women's house, and I noticed a huge stack of old 45s and record albums, and I've always been a collector, and so I started talking to them about it, and it turns out it was their brother's record collection. And the more I talked to them about it, the more they finally just said, you know what, we're probably going to be throwing all those away soon. If you would like to have them, please carry them off, and it will save us carrying them to the trash. Well, about half of what I brought home was show tunes. This guy obviously loved show tunes. So surreptitiously, I got Kat's new address through another friend of ours, and I boxed up about 45 show tunes, 45s and LPs, and shipped them to her. And she was so delighted by it that she had been working on a huge squash blossom necklace. And I would have to get my wife to show it to you for you to really understand how intricate and marvelous it is. And she turned around and sent that to my wife because of it. All right, guys, I'm going to shut this stream down. I urge you all to go watch Life with Pets. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 5-ish my time. Hope everybody's well. Good luck with your fish.